Hello there, you're on the Heart of Reddit channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Get your popcorn ready and enjoy. It was worth it. In the mid-90s I had my first tax-paying job at a fast food restaurant. The entire shift was worked by fellow schoolmates, so we had to deal with the high school BS every day. The shift leader was a senior that, of course, had the other senior helping them, leaving the underclassmen doing the real work. The shift leader would always count out the registers with the other senior instead of the person assigned the registers, which we complained about every time, but it never changed. One day before an evening shift, the owner called and requested to see me, so I go in my uniform because I was going in right after the meeting. I go into the office and the owner goes ballistic at the sight of me, screaming about a $100 discrepancy on my register. I asked what they were talking about. I wasn't there for count out and wasn't told about any discrepancies. I was then asked why I wasn't there for count out, and I reminded them about all the complaints about the shift leader's actions. The owner then says that the money will be withheld from my check. I was in my mid-teens, but I was no pushover. I argued my point so that he withheld equal amounts from me and shift leader. He then told me I was fired, though I had never been written up or had any previous missing money issues. By this time I was ready to move on, so I didn't fight, just asked for my check so I could go. The owner stated I would not receive my check until I turned in my uniform. It was clean, so I said screw it, stripped and held out my hand for my check with the uniform pulled at my feet. I guess they didn't want to explain a teenage girl in their underwear standing in their office, so they handed me my check. However, my mother had my car that day, so I walked home in my underwear. A bra and underwear is just like a bikini. Lol, right, was the only thought going through my head the entire trip. So that's how I got exposed by my own malicious compliance. And I still think it was worth the look on the owner's face. Must comply with corporate. Okay. A little backstory. I work for a rental company. One you've probably seen online and in the news recently. I'll leave it at that. Edit. This is the second busiest branch in our location, second to the airport. Over 600 cars just for our location. Previously there were 4 other coworkers during my shift. For whatever reason these coworkers either quit or were fired. Typically to take off work, you write off on the calendar. That's that. My boss says we must comply with corporate by requesting off online, being approved by the HR department for our area. I took off a few days, complying with corporate, wrote it off on the calendar. No big deal, right? Wrong. Boss tells me I'm not to be writing my days off on the calendar by requesting through corporate, which I have been doing. I agree, trying to de-escalate my boss. Time goes by, a few weeks, maybe a month or 2. I have off for an event. Perfect. I get a call about 2 hours past my typical start time. Boss seething with rage. B equals boss. M equals me. B, where are you? Do you know what time it is? M, I'm home. Today is my paid time off day. I requested it through corporate like you said. B, you didn't write it on the calendar. M, you told me to go through corporate, which I did. B, so you're leaving me with no service guys all day. M, yeah. See ya tomorrow. It's not my fault I'm the only service guy left. Oh well, maybe I won't be taken for granted. This was so sweet. Fireworks company. I worked for a fireworks company in college. This is my boss's story. He was heading to a show with all the fireworks in the trailer. He had to go through a wait station on the interstate due to the cargo and federal regulations. He got pulled over for an inspection, which wasn't a problem. He had the paperwork in line. Well, the inspector found a problem. The fire extinguisher wasn't properly secured. Not that it was missing, just not secured. My boss jury rigged it to be secured, but it didn't pass to the inspector's liking, and demanded my boss leave to get the right bracket, but had to dump the trailer. Since my boss had a show to get, it was going to be a problem. My boss persisted, but the inspector wasn't moved, so my boss offered to comply. Since the inspector would have forced my boss to drop the trailer, he made it an immovable bunker. This means, according to federal regulations, there is not supposed to be a road within at least 500 feet. I believe the number. The story is a little old. As stated, it was at a wait station on the interstate, so my boss demanded the interstate be shut down for the 3 days. It would have forced him to get the part. I mean, the regulation about the fire extinguisher is a safety regulation, so you would expect the inspector to understand. Well, let's just put it this way, the inspector thought my boss's jury rig met the requirement after that conversation.